I don't say! I bid you greeting this night of your time as you create time to exist. I do not ask this night of your time how you all are, for I know exactly how you all are. Perfect. Yes, in this way, as one of your own individuals, in this way, last night of your time has decided to create a new word to express the idea of what you are when you have the sense of your own vibrational resonance. It was termed in that session last night of your time to be bold flowing. In this way, therefore, I will bid you all happy bold flowing. Now, recognize that we had discussed the idea of the interactions that will be taking place from this time forward to be taking on the aspect and the coloration of activity. For in this way, this is the idea you have called your April month, the idea that shall be the fulcrum of all endeavors you shall choose to allow yourself to experience upon the face of your earth in this way. Whatever opportunities you are giving yourself now that you act upon will determine for you what realities you shall experience from this point forward upon the face of your earth. And in this way, therefore, as we will later on proceed with this interaction tonight of your time, we will begin, not to tell you, but to suggest ideas that you may be willing to undertake, to endeavor, to allow each and every one of you the opportunity to feel that activity for yourself, and to take it upon yourselves the responsibility of creating the world you desire to live within in this way, not by forcing, but by simply doing, by being who and what you are, by being true to yourself, and acting upon it in that way. And, in whatever way, shape, and form your own imagination may alter the suggestions we will make, will be a perfect manifestation of your willingness to co-create those activities, so that there may be, through the expression of each of you as an individual, the unification of your planet as you may so desire in that way. Are you all following along?
Yeah.
In this way, recognize, therefore, that the entire idea will revolve around what we have discussed many times about what you call processes. Now, each and every process that you choose to create is valid, very creative, can be, as you say, very much fun. And in this way, we are not saying that you should try to eliminate any process you are creating. Also, however, at the same time, you may recognize simply that this is your opportunity to know that you know on some level that a process is not necessary when you have life itself to create all that you need. Life is the only process that you actually need, and you may create many processes within life, but living in and of itself will bring you all you chose to experience in this physiological life. You will, one at a time, meet every single circumstance, situation, and relationship, and endeavor, and experience you chose to experience in this life. You will not miss any of them. You will not pass any of them by. They will not pass you by. By definition, it is not possible. Recognize in this way, therefore, that the entire idea hinges on your willingness to act as the idea you know yourself to be. Action, action, action. Creating and attracting an opportunity, and then rather than sitting around going, well, is this the right way? Well, is that the right way? Well, I don't know. Looks scary to me. Looks like I could get blocked there. Well, I don't know. Spending. Not only spending, but creating the additional time that you feel your endeavors to be taking. You follow me?
Yeah.
Only by analyzation of the path you have chosen to be do you create additional time that allows you to experience the idea of not being on the path you are on. In this way, as we have described, the idea of what many of you have called blocks within you are not blocks. They are friendly road signs, pointing the way very cheerfully for you, letting you know that now is the time to turn left, to turn right, not to stand there and stubbornly beat yourself against the wall. Recognize that the wall is there for the purpose of letting you know that turning left and turning right at that moment is exactly the correct way to go straight ahead. Blocks are only the unexpected that is judged by you to be something that doesn't belong in your reality, and there is no such thing. You cannot be interrupted. Everything you experience is what you chose to experience. Once you allow yourself to act upon that knowledge, you will allow yourself to transparently see how everything that occurs in your life is what you have chosen to experience. There will be no self-judgment, no need, oh, poor me. Here I am again. Which, by the way, never happens. There never is an again, never. It is always now, and it is always a new, eternal now moment. Anything that seems to you to be a so-called repetition is never exactly the same. For this is always a new now. And in that sense, you can realize that many times when you feel you are in repetition, it is only the judgment that you place upon the opportunity to view a certain idea from many different perspectives. It is not that you are repeating the same mistakes. It is that you are now examining one idea from a different point of view. You follow me? Yeah. It is only your judgment of that situation, of that examination, that lets you feel, lets you think that you have not made any progress. You are always in the act of creation. You are an act of creation. Anything you create is not an objectified act. It is an action that you are. You are the creation you are creating. Separation allows you to think you are an objective creator even when you allow yourself to think you are the creator at all. There is no true, in that sense, objectivity. Everything you experience is a creation of your own subjective awareness and belief about what you think you should be experiencing and creating. Therefore, allow yourself within the opportunity to now know that you can become the acts. You can become the situations. You can become the relationships you desire to experience upon your planet. You will know that in forming any situation, any relationship, you are that idea. It is you being reflected in a separated way, seemingly outside of yourself. You follow me? Yeah. Shouting!
Bashar, last night we were talking, your channel and myself and a couple of other people, about some of the experiences that a lot of trance channels have had before they became trance channels, such as being struck by lightning or a severe blow on the head or something like that, and the way it restructured the brain. Yeah, I wondered what you might have to say about that. Is that a very common thing, as we've noticed a few people have had that? Is that
upon your planet it is, yes.
Yeah.
In this way, you will find, first of all, that individuals who have entered this life, as you call it, with the idea of allowing themselves to break through the preconceived notions and the structures that you choose to agree with up to a certain point in this physiological life, many times will know that they have chosen a way that abruptly allows them to remove themselves from the previously held belief system and enter a new one. And in this way you will find that many times the idea of a sudden shock to the nervous system in that way will be one way that many of you have chosen to be something that will get you there very quickly, and because it comes as a surprise, you do not fear it. You follow me? In this way, it is a rewiring of the brain, of the idea of what you are in that way, though it may not immediately be apparent as to what the rewiring is headed for. But you will always find it. In this way, you will find there is though we will not go into this in great detail at this time, a similar idea to the energy. The energy that is experienced and expressed in what was discussed, the term of what you call an epileptic seizure.
Right. What is a seizure, an epileptic?
It is, in a sense, the willingness to allow for the rewiring of certain patterns, but in this way not the expression of them outwardly, but inwardly. It is channeling to the self. Experienced in a way that allows the individual to act as a sign, as a symbol to other individuals for the idea of allowing them to share, not pity, but compassion and support. At the same time, it is simply assumed in this way to be at dis-ease. Now, individuals who are allowing themselves to be born into your physical life with the potential for what you call the idea of epilepsy are simply allowing themselves to come in genetically wired in a certain fashion so that all the channeling energy will flow inward to the center of their being and will allow them to accelerate at such a rate that you may find that many individuals, if they choose to reincarnate after that, will have remarkably free lives or not choose to reincarnate at all. They have expressed all of the potential of their own creativity inward, and if they choose another life physically, all of that potential will then flow in service outward at what you would call a high rate of acceleration in a very obvious fashion. You will find that many beings that you might recognize as masters, so to speak, upon your planet, in a previous incarnation have been epileptics. You follow me?
Yes. Right.
That is what we will be able to discuss at this time. There will be more at a later date.
Sure.
Then you.
Yes. I have had some wonderful experiences lately with abundance. And I wanted to share some of those.
Oh, right, by all means.
I hardly know where to start, but...
How about where you want to?
Good idea.
Thank you.
Giving and receiving.
Nice.
I was considering this idea recently, and I realized that what abundance is merely, or simply,
Nice.
the basic cycle that is always...
It is a flow, yes.
Yes.
It is nothing static.
It is a flow, it is not a state.
It is not the collection of things.
Right.
It is the flow.
It is a flow, and it's comprised of giving and receiving.
Yes, and allowing others to give.
Yes, which is receiving.
Yes.
Because there can be no true giving unless there's allowance to receive as well.
Yes.
And so I began to see, in looking through my own life, how much giving and how much receiving I have been enjoying all my life.
Yes.
And I realized that abundance always is there, and therefore all we really need to do is tune to that and enjoy the flow of the giving and receiving.
You mean it that simple?
I'm afraid so.
Afraid?
Just a figure of speech.
Yes.
Anyway, I wanted to thank you because your ideas helped me to this realization.
I will thank you for allowing yourself to create those ideas in your own reality, and thank you for allowing me to reflect what you already know.
Good.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Guys.
Bashar, first on a personal note, I would like some reflection on the idea of, I find myself not acting in a number of areas. I feel like
You find yourself not acting?
Yes, sir.
Find yourself?
Yep, I discover. I go, here I am not acting. And I wish to be active, and I run into this judgment. Is this the correct path? Is this
No such thing.
Just like you were talking about.
All right.
But I've run into this for some time, and I'm still... I will rekindle when you get these concepts. I rekindle them and I go forth for a while, and then I find myself back in.
May I remind you of something?
Yes, please do.
Anything that you find to be an influence from us while you are in this interaction with us is only your willingness to influence yourself.
I understand.
We are not doing anything.
I agree.
Therefore, in this way, there is no need to accord to us the idea of having influenced you, and that when you leave, so to speak, the influence fades. You choose to stop influencing yourself.
Good. That's what I would like to reflect.
Why are you doing that?
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know. It seems shitty as hell.
why? What is it teaching you?
That it isn't a very pleasant way to live.
All right. Is it equal, however, to any other way you could live?
It has the same magnitude of intensity.
All right. Then why not simply choose the way you wish to live?
I don't know.
All
At
right.
that point in time. That's what I'm trying to.
How do you wish to live?
Actively, successfully,
Doing what?
abundantly.
Doing what?
Sharing.
Sharing what?
Affinity, love, humor,
All right.
joy.
All right. How can you do this?
By creating an audience to share it with in some way or fashion.
How about you, first of all? You are your first audience. How about sharing it with yourself?
Good idea. Actually, I found that when I have done that, then it naturally does.
Yes.
Oh,
So keep doing it.
share it with them. Good. Okay, that's a good one. I shall work on that one. Another question.
Work!
Work.
Work? Why? I shall work on that one. You are choosing to create the belief that you need to create a process to achieve something you already are. Remember that the idea of having the concept is the end of the process, not the beginning. Your imagination is as real as physical reality. As soon as you choose to believe that, you will know that as soon as you can conceive of the idea, you are the idea. You have but to therefore act like that idea to have your physical reality reflect that to you. There is no need to assume that having the thought means you need to begin a process to achieve it. It is the end of the process. The moment you can even conceive of it, you are it. Act like it. And your reality will reflect it automatically. It has no choice.
Good. Done.
Thank you!
Where's my dad?
You!
Second question.
All right, after that.
Okay. I'm being bold.
All right. Are you bold enough to know that if you have a question, you also have an answer?
Yes,
Thank you.
I am.
What is the question?
The question is, what was the nature of the civilization that is now an asteroid belt in our system, and what happened? Why did it explode? What occurred?
They were a little bit, shall we say, well, abrasive.
Yeah, okay, I get the concept of abrasive.
All right. Abrasive to the point where they chose to pulverize their planet.
Thermonuclear?
In a sense. Not quite what you would understand in that way, but similar.
Okay. What's the difference? How would they pulverize their planet?
You can yourself, you know. With your own nuclear devices, you can do this.
By setting out a chain reaction internally.
All it takes in this way is several key positions upon the crystalline structure of your planet to allow there to be an imbalance that will allow the planet to tear itself to pieces. You do not need to, I'll say, carry out the entire destruction with the devices. The planet will finish it for you.
I understand.
Thank you.
What was this civilization like?
Many of them are here now, you tell me.
Similar to this one.
Thank you.
In many ways.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Thank you! Yes?
Yes, for sure. In the last couple of months, I have been really dedicating my energies to finishing a screenplay on Crystal Skull. And as a result,
Are you having a good time?
I am.
Yes!
Yes. I have therefore not been dedicating those energies that I would normally have been dedicating toward gainful employment.
Why not?
Because I wanted to put my energies to the screenplay. I
Oh,
felt
all right.
I was channeling a feeling that was more important to me. Or at least that was the thing that I wanted to do.
You can do more than one thing, you know.
Yeah.
No, all right.
I And I do.
So you know you made the choice to only do the one thing.
Absolutely.
All
One
right.
thing that I
Yes.
did.
Yes.
I do more than one thing.
Yes.
I sleep. That's one thing. I do the screenplay. That's another.
Yes.
Lots of things.
Yes.
But one of the things that I did that I chose
Not to do.
was to spend the time to make money.
Oh, all right.
Take a large chunk out of the day that I wanted to dedicate toward the screenplay.
All right.
Okay, so it was my choice, totally.
Yes.
In that respect, I talked to a friend of mine who's also a channels being, who calls herself Enid.
All right.
And when I told her that I had really dedicated my time toward the screenplay, even though I hadn't been making an income for a couple of months, she said, I said, I really felt right about it. She said, I got a very strong confirmation on that.
Nice.
And I'm wondering, would you talk about the idea of conviction, I guess, in this regard, devoting one's time to something that really one's really convicted about, even though it may not apparently serve the social, economic needs for a period of time.
Are you, in your terms, expressing conviction in the way that will allow this endeavor to manifest whatever it needs to show you, no matter what it is, whether it ties itself into what you call your expected social structure or not? Are you that convicted?
I'm convicted to the point that I'm doing what I want to do.
Yes. Then there is no need for worry. The idea is that if you are doing the idea totally, as you know you are, then if you need any other type of support to continue to do that idea, it will be there.
Yes, well, I have been thinking that. I've been actually going very much on faith
Yes.
in that regard.
Continue.
Yeah, okay.
Understand, faith knows no end. In your terms, you may say it is persistent, but that does not mean it needs patience. It simply knows that if this is what you are and what you wish to do, there is no question of whether or not you should stop so that the idea can keep going. In other words, should I stop and do this so I can support myself, so I can continue to do that? If you are doing that, that will support you in any way, shape, or form. You need to be supported to do that if that is what you need to be doing. If you find that by doing that, you allow yourself the opportunity to experience that that is not going to support you in that way, then trust, like we spoke about the idea of the wall and the block, that it is a road sign for you to know, in this way, that you can allow yourself to do anything else you wish in this way, and it may be an opportunity for you to explore something in another direction, so that later you will bring back to the original idea you started something that it requires to be complete.
Certainly. But that, if I'm operating on what I really want to do...
In other words, allow your physical situation to be the barometer. If you are involved in a project, and you find that as you are involved, you have chosen to create someone coming to you and saying, by the way, you need $500 by tomorrow, then that in and of itself is a sign to you that if you are aware of any other opportunity that will allow you to raise that idea, do that. And let what you are doing sit for a moment. Because obviously, if you were not supposed to, in your terms, divert for a moment, you would not have created the attraction of someone coming to you and saying, by the way. You follow me?
Yes, I do. Now, there's two ways of doing this.
All right. How so?
There's probably more than two. But
maybe, maybe not.
Yes, you can have somebody come to you and say, I need to extract from you $500 for rent fee.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And you say, okay, well, I don't have it. Let me do something to get it. Or else you can just say, well, I'm not going to get it. Throw me out. Or else you can find a way to not have to stop the activity that you're doing,
yes.
that excites you mostly,
yes.
and get the $500 some other way.
Yes. Now, may I ask you a question?
Yes.
Can you therefore, within these, let us say 2 to 3 ways you have suggested, find any one way that has any more meaning than any other way?
Meaning more meaning only in the context of what excites me to do, what I feel most
All right.
doing.
All right, very good. Then in this way you can know that if you have the ability to discern that your excitement points to a specific way, you can do that. If you find that the idea allows you to sit there and say, well, any one of these three ways is equally probable, then know and trust that it doesn't matter which one you do. If you create for yourself a situation in which it is obvious that a decision cannot be made in that way, then it obviously doesn't matter which one you choose.
Right.
If you find that you do have a sense of excitement about one particular one, follow it. If they are all equal, it doesn't matter.
Right. Well, I was basically operating on what I really wanted to do.
Yes.
And it was more important.
Then stay with the excitement.
Yeah. Right. Another question.
Yes.
I'm going to read this because it's kind of lengthy.
All right.
We've discussed factoring consciousness into our mathematical equations, which represent our understanding of physical reality in order to build computers and spacecraft, etc., which operate on the principles yours do. In your perception, can we actually derive that understanding of physical reality by introducing factors representing consciousness into our calculational mathematics? Or will we need to begin to perceive physical reality outside the context and concept of our mathematics to derive that understanding of physical reality?
In your terms, it will be that first of all you can recognize that anything you do experience in your physical reality, including the creation of a new set of scientific equations and modality, will always be the reflection of having looked at your reality differently first.
Right. So I'm wondering, in our quest to factor consciousness into our equations,
Okay.
are we kind of putting the cart before the horse? I mean,
Well, in a sense, you can simply know that consciousness is a factor in your reality, and then by knowing that, and acting as a person who knows that and living that way, you will be the type of person who will discover the equations that will include consciousness, to reflect what you already know.
Right, that's what I'm saying, is that you don't really, by the time we get to the equations, we've already perceived
Yes.
how it does that.
Yes, although you make it usually unconscious, so that you rely upon the equations to make it conscious for you.
Okay.
As we said in the same manner that when you create a question, the question is your conscious way of recognizing that you have an answer that you refuse to allow yourself to recognize you have.
Right.
So you create a question to let yourself know that such a concept exists within you. And you do it in a way that removes the responsibility from you having to have the answer.
Got it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bashar,
Yes.
I have a quest on an idea that I would like to explore with you.
All right.
It has to do with last week when I spoke about my forehead swelling up, and there was an entity which gave his name to me as Bashar, and I would like to know, I've been trying to understand what he was trying to teach me, and I would like to know what perceptions you have.
No.
Can you tell me why?
No. Can you tell me? Are you sure? Would it help if you stood up? Does that help? Would it help if you turned around? Does that help? Would it help if you hummed your favorite note? All right. Oh, bravo. No. Would it help if you sat down relaxed? Now, the whole point is simply that are you willing to relax into your own imagination to determine what is relevant to you? about the experiences you co-create.
Yes.
All right. Then, using your imagination, what can you tell me about the idea of the reason for creating that type of interaction? What has it served? How has it allowed you to feel? And look at yourself.
Well, the idea that I've been exploring is the understanding that polarities are equal.
Yes.
And I feel like the entity wants to express to me to explore the dark side, to be able to vent negative polarities, to be able to see that they're equal to positive.
All right. And you can, in your terms, vent them in a positive way, so that you are not in this way acting, let us say, without integrity. You follow me?
Yes.
In this way, recognize that many individuals, when they form certain connections, by being born in your civilization at this time, as you have done, will come upon that time where they explore this negative aspect of themselves and know that it must, in that sense, come through, but that it can come through under control, within your self-empowerment, and in a positive, manifested way, so that it will be viewed as equal, and not overpowering to you, and allow you, in your exploration, pay attention, allow you, in your exploration of the polarity that exists within you, to not be so hard on yourself, and lighten up, and have a little fun, or a lot of fun. Not a test. And you do not have to view your exploration of the idea of the polarity as a test. You are where you chose to be. You knew what you were doing when you chose to be here, and you still know what you are doing, though many times you may choose to not think so. Allow yourself to know that you are not going to have instructed for yourself to have an experience that would not in this way be able to be absorbed by you and add to the overall understanding of why you chose to be here. Therefore, as you explore this idea of blending the polarities within you, trust that your imagination, specifically finely tuned to the being that you are, that it is, will always allow you to invent whatever methodology is perfect for you to go about exploring that blending. And you can trust that simply you can always feel free to exemplify the manifestation of that blending, and you do not need to exemplify it in a way that infringes upon anyone else in a non-integral manner. You follow me? Mm-hmm. Now, does that assist you at all?
Yes.
We realize that in this way, let us say, the reflection we are sharing with you is a bit nebulous. But from our perspective, you are being a little bit nebulous yourself about the ideas that you truly can allow yourself to know are yours to express. You follow me? Yes. Go with the feeling.
Okay.
You feel like what?
Spaghetti.
All right. What does that mean to you? Loosely connected? Intertwined?
Yes.
All right.
Changing from one idea to another.
Yes. Malleable. Allow yourself to know that many individuals in the transformational time will begin to create a sense of the transformational mechanism itself. Something that your civilization, for many hundreds of thousands of years, has not all permitted itself to feel. So it may seem disorienting, it may seem confusing in that way, but that is all right. That is the definition of the process. Disorientation and confusion. All right?
Thank you.
Relax. Relax and enjoy. Now, you can also add this to the idea, if you wish. If you are willing, in this way, to love living, then you will allow yourself to live the idea of loving. You follow me?
I time doing this.
Thank you. Then continue to enjoy.
Bashar?
You! Then you! Then you. All right.
I want to share with you an experience I had after I had attended Steve's seminar and had found so much help from his seminar in getting rid of the negative ego, or knowing where all this negativity comes from.
Comes from?
Well, yes. from the way that I handled it, from not putting a judgment on it now, where the judgment is. And so I went back to Denver to be with my sister-in-law, who is very ill with cancer. She's
All right.
a cancer patient and paralyzed.
All right.
And I dreaded doing it. I didn't particularly want to do it, but it was a beautiful experience.
Oh, very good.
And I had to lift her a lot and hold her.
Nice.
And it was like my heart chakra had opened up. I felt the deep, deep love
Oh, very good.
going through her and into her and back to me again. And it was a very beautiful experience where I had dreaded it. I found that anytime I looked at anything like I put a judgment on it, I knew where it was coming from.
Yes.
And immediately knew, and of course, so it would no longer be there.
Well, thank you for living through your fear instead of attempting to avoid it.
Yes, and it was a beautiful experience all the way.
Thank you very much.
And I want to thank you for all the sharing you've done with us.
You are very welcome. Yes.
Would you discuss addictive personalities as in overeating and alcoholism?
In this way, you may find that the idea of addiction is the lack of willingness to take responsibility for what you are creating in your life, and the willingness to put that responsibility on the tools that surround you. You follow me? It is an exemplification of what you call victimhood. The illusion and the game of victimhood. Is that enough? What else do you wish to explore? The creation, as we have just said, of an addictive personality is created in the moment someone is more willing to place the responsibility outside themselves than within. The second they take back the responsibility into themselves, they are no longer an addictive personality. Thank you. Does that assist you?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Hey.
I have a couple of questions. One concerning my health. I had a hernia operation 6 years ago, and I've had intermittent pain since.
All right.
And another is just today I had a checkup, and my doctor told me there was something going on with my heart and wanted EKG.
Palpitations?
Yes. So I wonder what it is.
All right. Allow what you call EKG to be undertaken, but in this way, do not fear. You will find that you are not alone at this time. The transformation that is taking place upon your world causes massive fluctuations within the electromagnetic field of your planet, and these are most sensitively perceived in your heart chakra and in what you call your sinus area. And in this way you will find that many individuals, when you perceive the increase in activity in electromagnetic fluctuation expressed in what you term to be also earthquake and volcanic activity, will be very sensitive in the heart area and experience high degree of palpitations and some degree of pain. Or in the sinus area, which is filled with what you call magnetite and very sensitive to electromagnetic frequencies. You follow me? Understand that, let us say, from our point of view, it is a higher degree of probability, like many other individuals who have also expressed this to us at this time, that when they have their tests run by your medical personnel, they will simply say, well, I don't know what's wrong. Go home, relax. Take a vacation. Are you doing anything that you should stop doing? Stop doing it. You follow me?
Yeah.
Therefore, first and foremost, relax. Into the understanding that you, like many others in your civilization, are only becoming sensitive, increasingly aware of your sensitivity to your connection to the planet upon which you live, and the changes it is also going through as a reflection of the changes you are going through as a mass consciousness. All pain in that way is simply the product of still making a comparison between the you think you are now and the you think you are becoming. Allow yourself to exist in the now moment without making a comparison between a past and a future, and all friction that is caused by bringing those two unlike vibrations together in the same space will cease. When you allow yourself to think of yourself as being less and becoming more, that you are a slower vibrational now you, and you will become a more advanced, higher vibrational, better you, you are creating there to be a separation within yourself in the present of two dichotomies, two seemingly opposing polarity viewpoints of yourself. Because you are creating there to be a slower vibrational you and a higher vibrational you in that way, you are allowing yourself to bring these two frequencies together, and when you force them together, the difference in the rate of frequency causes friction. The friction exemplifies itself in physiological form as pain, fever, dis-ease. You follow me? When you allow yourself to know that exactly where you are in the moment is exactly where you need to be and live in the moment, and do not say, I will become this better thing, I am focusing on the future to become something I am not now, which is a horrible, nasty thing that I am now. Then you will be existing in the moment, both frequencies will be equalized, and you will no longer be creating the friction that translates into your body as pain, dis-ease, and fever. You follow me?
Yes. Well, I do on one level, but on another level, I wonder about, like you said, about the medical treatment.
What about it?
Hernia operations,
Okay.
other operations.
Understand, if you are, let us say, involved within a certain belief system, that you require that treatment to allow you to cure yourself, which is all you are doing. Since manipulation of matter is only an illusion, you follow me? You are agreeing to be fixed. You are agreeing to be manipulated, to have your material form shifted. That is an agreement. Without that agreement, it cannot be done. Therefore, you are simply expressing to yourself that you obviously have a belief system that says, the way I need to heal myself is to have someone else do this for me, to reflect my own ability to heal myself in that way. Now you are changing the idea of who and what you are. So you are finding that that may no longer be necessary. You follow me?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
My other question involves, just over 7 years ago, I had a contact with an alien, and
in what manner?
It was a physical contact. I passed someone who was stuck in a car and offered my help, which was refused, but I offered it several times, and then got involved in a process of trying to start a car that wouldn't start, and then pushing and becoming increasingly scared at the time. And then he told me that he was from beyond this galaxy, and that my help was recognized with a gift, the help I had given him. And I wonder about the gift. And also, what happened was, I said I was glad to be of service and left. But then when I thought about the opportunity I missed to ask him where he was from, what he was doing here, what was going on, I decided to turn around, and he disappeared. I mean, disappeared.
All right.
I don't know.
The idea is simply the willingness to allow yourself to know that you are functioning on more than one level simultaneously, first of all. The idea, so to speak, in the fundamental sense of the gift, is that you are an unlimited being. You follow me?
Yes.
Just as you perceive the projection of that consciousness to be unlimited. You follow me? Recognize that when you have co-created an agreement to be of assistance in that way, that is the gift. The gift being given to you is the gift of allowing you to give. You follow me? Exercising that gift of being of service will always create for you automatic support from the entirety of creation. Continue to exercise the gift of giving in that way, and know beyond a shadow of a doubt, because you have created such a strong symbol to represent it by, that as long as you are willing to be of service in that way, to give of your own gifts of your own being, you will automatically be supported by the rest of all that is in your ability to give the gift of yourself. You follow me?
Yes.
Continue to do so. And you will always lead yourself to more and more interactions with whomever you have made agreements to interact with. All right?
Right.
Are you waiting for something to begin giving?
No. I'm giving in certain ways, I guess.
You get?
Well, I am giving all the time. I mean, maybe
right.
not as much as I could.
Not as much as you could. There is no need in the way of the idea of giving to feel that you have to deplete yourself. How are you giving?
How am I giving?
How are you giving?
By expressing
very good.
my creativity.
Very good.
And my love.
Yes.
Feeling.
Yes. Sharing, and being completely the person you chose to be. Not feeling incomplete. You do not have to push yourself so hard to the point where you find you are rupturing yourself.
Wow.
Do you follow me? Allow yourself to also understand the idea of piercing a veil between two dimensions, which is what happened in your interaction and your encounter. There is a positive and a negative reflection of the symbology of your operation. You follow me?
Yes.
Sleep on it. All right?
All right.
Thank you for your sharing.
Thank you.
One moment. You, then back there.
Oh, see you again, be with you. I know I've been with you anyway. I have a couple of questions.
All right.
Last night I had a dream about being here with me tonight, and I dreamed that we were in a house, and he had these 3 black voodoo dolls, and he asked me to use them on him, and he said they were very hard to find. He couldn't find any more. They were very rare. And I said, no way, I'm not going to use those on you. And he said, well, I'm going to leave. So I was wondering if you could give me a little, I know it's probably some past life, but it seems...
In what way were you expected to use them?
Sexually. Somehow use them sexually. I don't even know. But I got a feeling it was the Orion connection. Is that...
To some degree, yes.
Can you give me an idea of what the voodoo dolls represent?
First of all, understand again the exemplification of the triad. There is some connection to the idea of the translation of that Orion energy through what you have called upon your planet, the idea of magic, what we have discussed. You follow me?
I sure do.
In this way, allow, for now, Stephen to explain at another time some of the idea of the connections we have discussed in that way. And simply know that you are forming an opportunity within that symbolic dream to know that you are beginning to translate the energy from that area through into another set of manifested symbols that represent more the positive affirmation of the planet you are now on. You follow me?
Mm-hmm. I have another question. The other, I've been doing a lot of family work.
Right.
And for the last few weeks, up in the upper left-hand part of my head, it feels like there's...
It is an activation of a pressure point. You are feeling a flow of energy shifting. You are feeling a glandular and a neuronic shift.
Is the pineal?
No.
Neuronic shift is a nerve?
Yes.
But it's not like a plate they put on.
No.
And I don't know if you can tell that the other night I received a lot of information, and I can't remember anything other than the date April 7th. Can you give me any more information on that?
Simply in this way, you will find that what we have called the time frame of your 4th of April to the 11th of April, in this way, and the idea of 7 in the middle, 4, 7, 11, in this way, the 4th month 4th day, 4-7, 4th month, 7th day, 11, and this way, 4th month, 11th day. The combination of the 4 in the way and the 7 in that sense is simply an exemplification of high degree of activity of many different consciousnesses surrounding your planet and interacting with your planet on energy ways. You follow me?
I do follow you. Thank you very much.
Thank you! Yes!
Thank you. I don't know where to begin on this, but
You can begin in the same place that she did earlier. Whatever you want to.
basically I experienced pretty much everything everybody's been talking about here.
Right.
And reflecting on it, in my present situation...
All right.
What?
Now, first of all, allow yourself to begin to recognize the idea that you are being given an opportunity, let us say, to tinker with. The opportunity to view your own male-female energy within yourself and to find them to already be married within you. You follow me?
Yes.
And in this way, recognize that when you allow the service that is being provided by you, by the other consciousness to be performed, it may not be necessary for the full fruition physically of the consciousness. You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
However, the opportunity can go both ways. For recognize this. Agreements that you have made have the potential for being interacted both in a non-physical and a physical way because this is the transformational life. And though you may wish to interact with those other consciousnesses in a non-physical way, you also have the opportunity to want to share the transformation with them physically.
Yes.
As your associates in life. You follow me?
As my associates in life.
Right. They have been associates in this way before, including the one you now have. Even though you, in that sense, may be doing the mothering, they have been equal to you many times in the same way. And in that sense, you may find that you are, on your own terms, bringing through, well now, this is only an analogy, but you are bringing through your own crew. You follow me?
Yeah.
All right. Now, it does not have to be that way. First of all, recognize that the offering being offered to you at this time by the situation you have co-created with that entity is to simply first and foremost allow yourself to know that you are dealing with the blending, yet again, another phase of the idea of the marriage of the masculine and feminine energy within yourself. All right?
Okay.
And an assimilation of the polarity that are connected to many other lives and many other dimensions of experience. It is all part and parcel of what you chose in this way. Relax in a loving manner into the situation and the condition that you have co-created. For always, once again, it all serves your purposes, and recognize that no matter in what way and what manner you choose to exemplify and bring it to fruition, it will always be the right way. You will not have regret if you will know that you are always living in the moment. You follow me?
Right.
For regret is only a connection to a past you do not prefer. But you are judging, and that creates regret. If only, what if? If only, what if? If only, what if? All of that is illusion. All that is simply what is. All right? Thank you.
Thank you.
Bashar? Two things. Number one, the idea of pain, and you said that people have sinus pain, which I feel right now, and the heart palpitations. Okay, and you said that could be because of the earth's energy. Now, but then you also said that pain is, what I thought you said anyways, that pain is caused by the conflict that when we don't allow ourselves to...
Separation.
Okay. So is that still, then the pain that's caused with the sinus thing and the heart palpitations because of the earth shift, is that the same thing? Separation that causes the pain?
Yes. It is nudging you to feel the separations you are making still in this way. Not that you are still doing it so much, but simply that you may be creating remnants for yourself. And it is simply allowing you to assimilate them at a rate that is comfortable.
Okay, so we don't need to, like, I don't,
For instance, I've felt
For you,
Okay.
the sinus activity is also an indication of your exploration of harmonic resonance, for that is your resonating cavity.
Okay.
In this way, you are beginning to break through your own veils in that way and simply are exploring caves you have not yet explored. And in that sense, finding that as you enter each and every cave of a different size and a different shape, as you make your own tonality, the cave will echo back to you the tonality of its reflection of the idea you have shared. And as you continue to explore this idea, you will find that you will bring to bear the harmonic resonance and synchronicity of all the different caves you are exploring in that way. It is simply an idea that may have a little bit of separation within it, only because for you it is still, in your eyes, new.
Oh, I see. All right. Okay. Okay, great. That's number one. Number two is I had a dream, yet it wasn't separated from this dream, okay, right now.
Yes.
Okay. And yet the only way I feel that I can talk about it is to share it in a way that's separated, even though truth is my experience in the dream was, the purpose of the dream was to say that, well, anyway, what my experience was that I was totally conscious in the dream as I'm conscious now, and that there was no separation, and that was the message of the dream, and that is the way.
Well, thank you.
So when I woke up, I didn't feel like I had a dream. It was like a continuation of my life.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
I have been accompanying you. Sort of. With sound.
Sounds wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm interested in the first question and answer of this evening about the shocking incident.
Yes.
Are you allowed to tell me if that would be part of my experience?
We perceive that that does exist within you, and we perceive that there is a great capacity, to store the type of energy that can electrically, automatically, very quickly rewire your entire brain. Now, toying for a moment with that portion of your capacity, can you for now imagine a mirror, but a mirror that you can pass through?
Yes.
All right. See that mirror, step through that mirror, look to the other side and see the same reflection but changed. What do you see that is different on this side of the mirror than what you saw on the beginning side of the mirror before you stepped through it?
Well, a body at will, as well as an ability to see past and future, and others past.
Thank you. We have enough. In this way, understand that what you are creating for yourself is a recognition, a conscious recognition of yourself as a holographic creation. You follow me? The explosion of your capacity, of your electromagnetic capacity, can allow you, once you have, let us say, laid down the pattern of the holographic reality you are describing, to create yourself, in a sense, to be what we have called a flash matrix. That is, that you are enabled to function as a capacitor, that once you have laid out the schematic of the holographic reality you wish to experience, you can then flash and activate it, granting it life and solidity, and experience that dimensionality in that moment, in a flashpoint perspective. You follow me?
Right. Would that continue? Would that reality continue?
It can, or it can flicker. It is up to you. It depends upon the instructions you lay out in the original template.
Okay. That was a very nice answer. Thank you. I have one more.
All right.
I'm also a little bit confused about this idea of following your heart or...
your intuition, your excitement?
Yes.
Simply what we are saying is that what you call excitement is the physiological translation of the vibration that represents the path you chose to be.
Okay. Now, I'm doing a few things presently in my life that are bringing me a great deal of stress.
All
and
right.
I think on the one hand, I go, okay, this is what my soul wants me to experience.
Why?
So I better push myself to it.
Why would your soul want you to suffer?
I don't know.
Well, it doesn't.
On the other hand, I would say I'd really like to walk away from all this.
But understand, it is not that you have to view it as walking away from anything, but walking to what is the vibration that represents what you know yourself to be.
In other words, it's like I say, okay, even though there is some suffering here, that's not really the point.
Recognize that very often the point of choosing to create suffering is to know that you don't need to have that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Understand, as we have said, you did not have to do anything to deserve to exist. You do not have to continue to do anything to deserve to continue to exist. Do what excites you, for what excites you is a reflection of the vibration of the path you chose to be. And that excitement, the feeling of that excitement, is being in synchronous harmony with your soul. That is what excitement is.
Thank you.
Thank you!
Bashar.
You. Then you.
Here.
Guys.
Me.
Guys.
Okay. I have several things. First, a question about some pain that I've had in my throat.
No, that second. What else?
Other physical pains.
Other physical pains. What else?
I've had poor venous circulation for a long, long time in my legs.
What else?
And more recently, in the last 2 weeks, I've had pain in my lower back.
What else? We are waiting for you to stop saying the same thing in many different ways.
Okay. So can we stop now?
It is up to you.
Okay.
What else?
There's been some changes in my nostrils and my breathing.
All right. How does it allow you to feel?
The breathing?
Yes.
I feel some disturbances there.
What do you mean, disturbances?
Changes. Just
All right.
something uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable?
Yes.
Is change uncomfortable to you? Why? Will you do me a favor? Yes, no, maybe.
Yes.
Oh, all right. It's up to you. You don't have to.
Right.
Will you sit up straight? Will you take your arms and do this? Now, will you 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 do this? Including the breath. Again. One more time. Now, will you do this? Now, will you do this? Now, I will say a word. Will you say the first thing that comes into your mind without thinking? Conviction. Don't think.
One-pointed.
Very good. Trust.
Faith.
Very good. Life.
Live it.
All right. Choice.
Choose.
All right. Fear.
Get rid of it.
Thank you very much. You cannot get rid of anything. There is nowhere to get rid of anything to. You follow me? You are your own universe. There is nothing outside of you. You cannot get rid of any portion of yourself. Trying to get rid of portions of yourself is what causes you to push those portions against the wall of your universe, because there is no outside. In pushing against those portions, attempting to get rid of them, you are impacting them with more energy than they need to have. And you are loading the spring by pushing them against the wall that causes them to be able to overpower your push and spring back upon you and disassemble and shatter you in all the different areas that they hit. Shrapnel throughout your body. Psychic shrapnel. You follow me? You are shattered in so many areas of your body from psychic shrapnel, attempting to get rid of something and pushing against it when it has nowhere to go until it explodes in front of you and peppers you with psychic shrapnel. You follow me? All of the different physiological pain you are experiencing is from the same explosion. They are not different, they are not unconnected. It is all one idea. Having fear and thinking that you need to get rid of it rather than live through it. You follow me? Are you following any of this?
Yes.
All right. Now.
Not all the business without the exploding.
All right. View the idea that you are your own universe, yes?
I'm creating my own life, yes.
You are your own universe. Completely, totally, 100%. Allow me to ask you a question. How do you know that you are not creating everyone else you see in the room? How do you know?
How do I know that I'm not creating everyone?
Yes. Or do you know that you are creating everyone that you see? Your version of them.
I think that I do know.
All right. Then recognize that everything you are seeing is your version of that idea. Not so much the actual thing. There really is no such thing as an actual thing. You follow me? All that you perceive is a reference point from an interactional idea with other ideas that you have created to be separate from yourself. In other words, you are all that is. You create the idea that there is something else and then form an interaction with it that creates what you perceive to be the objective universe. You follow me?
No.
All right. Let us begin with the idea that you exist. Do you exist?
Yes.
Are you sure now? I want to start out on the right foot. Are you sure you exist?
Yes.
No, thank you. You do. Now, recognize, however, that there is only one person to whom you can prove you exist, and that is you. You follow me? You cannot prove to anyone else that you exist, for you do not know that if you are sitting there convincing someone else that you exist and they are nodding their head very obediently, that you are not looking at a hallucination. There is no way to know that you are actually talking to anyone else, really. You follow me? You can only prove to yourself that you exist. You follow me?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
All right. Then recognize that that in and of itself means that you are, in a sense, the only one in the universe. Now, this is true for everyone. Don't panic. You are both one thing, one idea, one all that is, and you are also everything. So in this way, you always have both ideas. It is always the polarity. However, for the purpose of this conversation, simply understand that you are creating everything you are perceiving. You are interacting with other consciousness, in a sense, and creating your own version of all these other people, creating for yourself an image to which you can relate. You follow me?
Yes.
It is a projection let us say, upon a 360-degree spherical screen around you. You are the projector. Your personality, in that sense, is the prism, the lens, through which the white light of your knowingness projects through the prism and fractionates into the seeming separate images that you perceive up, down, sideways, below you, all around you. It is a projection on the inside of a 360-degree spherical screen. It is an illusion. It is your version of the consciousness with whom you are in contact. You follow me? It is as if every being was surrounded by this little globe and did not actually see each other directly, but only received messages that each other existed, and then they are forced to project an image on their 360-degree screen about what they think the other person they are talking to looks like. You follow me? You follow me?
No.
Keep it simple. Use the analogy in this way that I am suggesting. You cannot know the idea of existence except for yourself. What seems to... Do you have the idea, do you understand the idea that you are energy?
Yes.
You know that matter is energy, energy is matter. Yes?
Yes.
All right. Understand, therefore, that matter, if you wish to look at it, is only solidified energy. Yes?
Yes.
All right. Now understand that your senses are not perceiving an actual world, they are creating it. You follow me? What you perceive as the arrangement of energy and matter in your world is what you choose to create, what you choose to filter. Now understand, perhaps what may be confusing you is the idea that there seems to be agreement, and that is all there is, in that you are making an, let us say, non-physical agreement with all the other consciousnesses to project a similar picture on the inside of their screens, so that you can share something in common. You follow me? But understand that every person's projection is not identical to yours. Literally is not the same reality. In other words, you will find that, let us say, you are sitting on what you call a chair. You have your own version of creating the concept that you are sitting on a chair. Since you know, as an energy being, time and space are your own illusions. You are projecting yourself into an illusionary dimension you call physical reality. And you are creating the concept that you are at rest. And in symbolic identification, you are patterning the idea of, here is a symbol to show that my symbolic physical form is symbolically at rest by sitting in a symbolic chair. You follow me? It is all an illusion. You follow me?
I lost you long time.
Why did you not say so?
I did, but you didn't hear.
All right. Now, pay attention. You are not lost at all. Simply, you are encountering the unexpected. Understand that we have established with you that from many different points, you do have an understanding of the, let us say, transcendental, transient nature of your existence. Are you, by nature, are you, let us say, fundamentally, a physical or a non-physical being? Are you a soul, or are you only your physical body? What is your perception on that? You have not thought about this.
Of course it's not that.
Well, what is your perception?
I'm first of all soul.
All right. What is a soul to you? All right. Your essence. Will that do as a definition? All right. Now, is your soul something that is, let us say, basically physical or non-physical to you? All right. Then you have the concept that if you were to exist just as a soul without a physical form, you could do that. Yes? All right. Then understand that the idea simply is, if you wish to take it another step further, is not so much literally that a soul projects itself into a physical universe that is already there. It is that the soul is the creator of the physical universe as it chooses to project itself into that idea. You follow me? Your physical body is a reflection of the soul in physical terms. It is not so much truly that a soul inhabits a body, although that is the illusion that has been created. It is more simply that your body is a reflection of the soul in physical terms. Not necessarily that your soul has hands and feet, but simply that it is exemplifying itself in whatever manner represents the essence of the soul and its ability to do things, to create things, which in physical reality requires the idea of what you have created to be hands and so forth. Now, if you can understand the idea that as a non-physical entity to begin with, you are the creator of all that you experience literally, then you can understand that physical reality is only an expression of the imagination of the soul. Does that make sense? All right. Then understand in that way that all we are saying is that anything you are experiencing in a physical reality is in a sense a product of the imagination that you possess. And in this way, you can know that your physical reality, any physical reality you experience, is a product of that imagination. Whatever you imagine your physical reality to be will be what you experience as a physical being. You follow me? It is from your belief system, what you believe the reality to be. That is what creates what you experience in life. Now, if you find that you are having an experience in physical reality that you do not prefer, then simply recognize that what you are experiencing is from the product of the belief system that simply says, I believe that this is the most likely reality I can experience for whatever reason. Now, the idea of having a fear that something can happen, a fear that an idea is more likely to happen than any other idea, is the same thing as saying you believe that that is the most likely reality you will experience. And of course, as you say in one of your languages, voila, there it is. You always manifest what you believe your reality to be about. Even if it is not a reality you enjoy, even if it is not a reality you want, you can manifest a reality that you do not prefer simply by believing and or fearing, same thing, that that reality has more potential to become real than the one you desire. It is only out of the habit of believing so in what you call your unconsciousness that allows you to create and attract situations within your body, within your reality that you do not prefer. But recognize simply, in this way, that it is all your creation. Ultimately, you are choosing to believe that that has to be the way it is, in that sense. And if you know that you are making that choice, if you know you are creating your reality, literally, then you can know that the choice you have made is equal to any other choice you could make. And you can simply, therefore, all choices being equal, now prefer to experience the one you would rather have. Not judging the others you do not prefer, not invalidating them, for all the experiences you have created have gotten you where you are. And therefore you can love them, and they have been of service to you. And you do not need to judge them. And paradoxically, by not judging them, that is what will allow you to choose the reality you do wish to experience, and have only that manifestation in your life. What we are saying, and what we said before, is simply the idea that as you project yourself into physical materiality, as you create yourself to be the so-called physical being, as you create all the different levels of separation within that physical being that you call a consciousness, an unconsciousness, a subconsciousness, all of these being arbitrary divisions in this way, recognize that your soul is one unbroken wholeness, yes? All right, therefore recognize any so-called divisions that you perceive in physical life are arbitrary illusions imposed upon the idea of your physical being to serve a purpose. Now, as you find in this way that you are one wholly contained idea that has many divisions, you can recognize that as the soul has created you, It has created you to be exactly within the parameters that are defined. Therefore, anything that is contained within you cannot step outside of the being that you are in that way. And an attempt to get rid of something you don't like is actually a reinforcement of that idea, because you are placing more energy in it than you need to give it. Because you are not letting what you are trying to get rid of be equal to anything else within you, and give yourself the opportunity to choose what you prefer. You follow me?
Yeah.
Now, the idea of fear. All right, let us say you have fear. So what? It is simply one choice out of many. So acknowledge it. Say, all right, obviously I am creating my reality. Obviously I am choosing to feel fear. If you know it is a conscious choice, if you make it a conscious choice to have created the fear, it will automatically be under your control again. And the second it is under your control, poof, no fear. Because you know that if it is simply under your control and it is one of the choices you made out of many choices you could make, you will simply say, oh, I chose it to serve me. Obviously, it showed me something. All right. Now that I know I can choose that whenever I want to, I also know I can choose anything else. So, fear, thank you for doing your job and letting me know that I might prefer some other form of lifestyle. I will now allow you to reassimilate within me, having done your job so well, and I will now choose another way to view myself, and therefore automatically another way to live my life, without fear, without pain. Not saying that I will not allow the idea of pain to exist within my potential reality if I choose to need it, but I simply know that I no longer need the idea of pain to allow me to see what ideas in my life I have chosen to experience. Now that I am no longer invalidating what occurs in my life because I know I have chosen to create it, because I know there are no such things as interruptions in my life, because I am not so much on a path in life, I am the path in life, and I cannot be off myself. Therefore, in this way, anything I encounter on the path that I am must be serving my purpose, my higher self purpose, to know myself, to assimilate, to integrate, and to become in synchronous harmony with my soul being, so that I know that it is my right to live in physical reality in the same manner and methodology as my soul exists, and that is constantly, continuously, and creatively within a state of complete and total ecstasy and unconditional love. For myself as well as for all that is. You follow me? How do you feel? How do you feel?
I'll be fine.
You are fine. Why you can, but why choose to assume that the fineness that you are now must take place at some point in the future? I will be fine. If you are willing to allow yourself to know you are fine right now, then you will allow whatever seemingly negative manifestation you have chosen to experience to flow through you and integrate and disperse. For anything that you choose, if you allow it to serve its purpose, will not stay in the same shape in which it delivered the original message. If you allow something to serve its purpose, it will then be able to transform into something else. Understand, you do not have to make anything change. You allow things to change. Change is the only constant in the universe. You only make things stay the same. Allow the change to come in by acknowledging everything in your life to be what you want to experience. All the physical pain you have experienced in your life is what has gotten you to the point where you are now realizing you don't need to learn by experiencing pain any longer. You are tired of it. You follow me? It has served you. Let it have served you. The second you let it have served you, instead of trying to get rid of it, that is when you don't feel it anymore. And you don't need to feel it anymore. You create positive manifestation in your life by approaching your life through the idea of paradox. allowing yourself to know that whatever it is you don't want to experience, allow it to be all right to experience it, equal to anything. And then you won't have to experience it. Because everything, once it is equal in your eyes, will be able to allow you to choose what you want to experience. Clearly. You follow me? Thank you very much for your loving sharing. You may all take a short break. Thank you very much for your loving sharing. You may all take a short break. All right, allow us to say at this time, recognize that we cannot in any way, shape, and form prove any of what we say to you. However, I can, in your terminology, absolutely 100% guarantee, that is the word you like, guarantee that you can prove it to yourself. All we are saying is that if you are willing to act as the person that you can envision yourself desiring to be, your reality 100% guaranteed will reflect that idea and only that idea to you. It can do nothing else. I guarantee it. 100%. Life works when you let it. 100%. Yes, I know. It sounds too easy. But life is easy if you let it be. Life always creates more life without any difficulty whatsoever. Existence always continues to exist without any effort at all. No struggle. It just is. It is ecstasy itself. There you have a prime example. Therefore, allow yourselves the opportunity to realize, realize to yourselves that which you can imagine is real. You cannot imagine non-existence. Go ahead, try. All right. Now recognize, therefore, that anything you imagine is on some level of your existence a real reality. And many of them are manifestable within what you call physical reality in various ways. According to the agreements you have made with everyone else to share the idea of this transformational time frame, you will find that as you, in your terms, get further and further into fourth density transformational reality, it will not be so critical to all be experiencing the same basic reality together. You can form a society in which many members will be popping in and out, experiencing many different realities and coming back to share them with you and cross-referencing and exchanging of information in that way. You will no longer be considering those individuals to be insane, as you label them now, because they are experiencing realities that are no less real than the one you experience by mass agreed upon insanity. Recognize simply that insanity is only a definition, an arbitrary label. Allow me to remind you of another arbitrary label, the word habit. Because you choose to say, well, all right, well, yes, I'm doing it out of habit. You are reinforcing the idea that you are giving yourself the excuse to keep doing it out of habit. Because to you, the idea of habit has more power than you do in the now moment to become anything you wish. You follow me?
Yep.
Sure.
Bashar.
You.
I have two questions.
All right.
One.
Yes.
Is there a difference between ecstasy and knowingness?
There can be. Knowingness can be viewed, if you wish, as the first realization based upon existence's ecstasy of creation. Now, does that make any sense so far? You have existence, all right?
Yeah.
All that is, existence. One homogeneous, unbroken idea, existence. Now, when existence knows it exists, that is the first separation, knowingness. You follow me?
Yeah.
That knowingness is created through the act of ecstasy. Ecstasy is, in a sense, the state of existence itself, and it also is the underlying support, substance, if you will, and mechanism of all that is created within all that is. It is, if you will, the medium of creation. In other words, ecstasy is the interaction of all that is knowing itself. Does that make sense? Thank you. What else?
The other thing is, Mr. Earth Server
Yes?
wanted me to ask you if it was possible for him to feel his foot without wearing a cap.
Of course it is possible. Otherwise he would not have been able to conceive of the idea.
Okay.
It is up to him.
That's what I thought you were going to say.
How psychic of you. Now, yes. Common sense, which it seems is not. Allow yourself to know that in all things you call metaphysics, common sense still applies. Allow him to know that simply he can recognize the idea in two ways. It is an opportunity to know that simply having the cast supports his belief system. Or if he chooses to change his belief system, he does not need it. Thank you.
Bashar?
Yes.
I have 4 questions. Some of the answers should be very short. One,
are you having a good time?
Yes, but that wasn't one of my questions.
I was talking to that individual.
Was Atlantis in our density vibration?
Yes.
So that the ruins could be found on the ocean floor?
What little there are.
Why is there little remains?
The destruction was quite total.
I see.
And there has been much passage of time and much erosion. There are a few, and a few have already been found.
Where?
In what you call the Bahamas.
Uh-huh. And how about Lemuria? Would that be the same?
Lemuria will be less likely, although what you call the manifestation of Hawaii and Easter Island will be, to some degree, manifestations of the idea of Lemuria still remaining.
With those big heads on
Yes.
Easter Island?
Yes.
Lemuria?
Yes.
Okay.
They were made to scale of the Atlantean heads.
Okay, that's the second question. I noticed, I've seen several different people channel when you're coming through Darryl, there are great physical movements, whereas with the other people I've seen channel, it's almost the passage, the arrival of the entity
Yes.
is occasioned by almost no physical motion.
Correct.
Why?
Thank you.
Do you have an idea why with you and Darryl there's much more physical motion?
Of course.
Can you tell me?
Yes. I'm about to. Thank you. Now, understand it has to do with the definition of the relationship between us, first of all. Also recognize the idea that in your terms, the channel is physiological, and in my terms, I am also still physiological. Thus, there is much to be identified with in terms of, let us say, feeling each other out in that sense. And there's a great deal of physiological interaction in allowing the energy to be felt in that way and expressed in that way for the physical channel. Because, in a sense, it is like, well, trying on a new suit.
Got it.
Thank you.
Okay, then that leads into my next question, which is, is it your intention that your communication with us be merely the words going back and forth, or are you also intending to affect us at a vibratory level?
Oh, we are speaking to you on many levels at once. Okay. And part of the motions that you are perceiving within the physical channel's body in this way are reflections of some of the energy that is not being vocalized.
Okay, good. Finally, when you started...
Are you keeping count?
This is the fourth.
He's on to you, Eric.
In the beginning, when you started this evening, you spoke about, you mentioned the idea that when we experience an obstacle in life, it only continues to be an obstacle if we don't recognize that it's a signpost to recognize to go right or left.
Yes.
And just...
Or up or down, or however.
Okay, my question to you is, but what if it has been our intention to create for ourselves the experience of beating our heads against the wall?
Then obviously that is what you do. Until you get tired of doing it.
Okay, just a few minutes ago you said life is easy if you let it be easy.
Yes.
But
it is very easy to create the reality in which you beat yourself against the wall. I did not say it would necessarily be enjoyable. I said it was easy.
To create that experience.
Yes.
I'm looking at it, it's as if part of why we have created the physical universe is to have the opportunity to experience the kind of pressure that we create for ourselves.
And so you can, if you desire to. Simply we are perceiving in your reality that you have experienced this so many times, you are about to change your mind.
I see.
And do not forget, you do have the creation in your society of what you call masochists.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
Bashar.
You!
I'm having a ball.
All right.
Yeah, I'm creating a ball. I want to invite you. Yeah, I've had a lot of wins since, create a lot of wins. I'm starting a magazine that I'm going to publish next month called Interplanetary News.
All right.
And I would like to invite you and any other extraterrestrials or terrestrials to write, present articles or viewpoints. So you've got a local Earth publication to transfer some of your...
All right. On one condition.
Okay, well, if you want to make one, go ahead.
Thank you. I will. All that we, in this way, will co-create with you to be a sharing within your endeavor will be, in your terms, 100% verbatim.
Right.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
Bashar?
All right, you.
Okay. About a week ago, I woke up about 2 in the morning and realized that there were a lot of environments that were moving very fast, beginning to. At that moment, I drifted off into a tunnel. It was spinning.
Nice.
It was moving so fast that for a second I started to put the brakes on by saying, "Don't harm me," thinking it was out of my control.
Yes.
Then I surrendered to the tumbling through.
All right.
Then went into a state of unconsciousness I guess I call sleep.
In a sense, what you are experiencing is what you may call the beginning of an out-of-body projection.
Okay.
It is also the beginning of what you call the death experience, leaving the body, perceiving the symbology of going down tunnel. It is a symbol. It is simply a symbol for the idea in that way that you are moving through a dimensional gate, a doorway, a shifting of vibration.
I felt there were tremendous shifts in the body as if I'd almost come out from a surgery, except that there was no pain.
Yes. You make alterations in that state many times.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
I had a dream a couple nights ago that I'd like to talk about, and
and it had to do with cabin, and all kinds of people were there. And I walked in like I've been there and I hadn't been there in a long time, and there's basins where there was soap, and then just went to the basins and started washing your face and waving at people across the room who were sitting with coffee. And then I just kept on going through and happy. And I ran into somebody who came and brought me my 2 children.
Yes.
And I couldn't remember giving birth to them, but I knew they were my 2 kids. They were hugging me, and I was hugging them. And it was
Nice.
And he was waiting for me, and I asked somebody, I said, could you show me the way? Is this the correct road?
All right.
And I just woke up, but it was so clear.
Yes.
It was the clearest dreams I've had in a long while.
Yes.
Could you share with me what that was all about?
Simply, in this case, literally, as you perceived it in a sense, the idea of existing in the astral state and creating a physiological representational reality in which to exemplify the visitations you were making. Yes. And that you are beginning to live in both worlds simultaneously.
Yeah.
Shifting back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Blending, blending, blending. And allowing your activities on that side to be equal to the idea of this side and vice versa. That you can accept the idea that you can and do quite often pay many visits on that side as you do on this one.
That's beautiful, because for some months now, when I go to sleep, I know I'm going to
Yes.
a big smile and don't need to remember. And now, not feeling I needed to remember, I'm seeing, I'm remembering.
Paradox.
Interesting. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for allowing the formation of dream reality, of dream life, to be one thing.
Bashar?
Yay.
I wanted to ask a question. When I was sitting there with my sister-in-law one night, I looked up and I saw this figure in a purple robe with what looked like white ermine around and a tremendous jeweled type of headdress. I presumed, or I thought, that it was probably a guide or something helping her through this. But the face looked so very, well, it didn't seem to have
Just knowingness. Just certainty.
Oh, I see. That's what it was.
Nice.
Could you tell me who this is?
No.
No, okay, fine.
Bashar.
Thank you.
One moment. Two connections. The purple vibration and the nomenclature, not literally, of dragon, will assist. They are very sketchy, I know, but that is what we are allowed at this time. And that is what will spark additional understandings within you about that idea. All right? Or perhaps the idea of emperor.
That was what I forgot was like an emperor.
All right. Your higher consciousness.
Where are they?
They? They who?
Forget I asked.
Forget what? You wish to share something?
Yes, I do. Would it be possible for you and Daryl to meet face to face?
In a sense, in time, perhaps, yes. There would be a difference in the meaning that at first would be, as you would say, like unto each of us seeing through not only our own, but each other's eyes as well, simultaneously. What about
the higher consciousness? It's, and in my viewpoint these days, if I'm saying a higher consciousness, then I have to pretend or be in a lower state than my higher consciousness, when that is as one as I am right now in the moment.
Right. But understand simply that even though you know you are creating some degree of separation, you can still function within synchronous harmony with the idea of your higher consciousness, which creates reality within ease and effortlessness. You follow me?
Not quite.
In other words, when many individuals on your planet relate to the idea of where they are relative to their higher self, they are creating a judgmental comparison, as opposed to allowing there to simply be a synchronistic relationship that allows you to not feel the comparison in a negative way. To clarify the idea.
Clarifies the idea, but it seems like at that point then there is a separation, without any comparison, even though it can be a synchronicity.
Well, by definition, yes. Otherwise, you would simply disappear from this physical reality. If you pulled yourself back together.
I got you.
And when the purpose of being separated has been served, that is what you will do.
I got you. That's what I was, yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Bashar,
You.
I heard you say that on your planet there is marriage, and I've always...
In a sense. Not as you understand in that way. First and foremost, every member of our society knows, in a sense, they are married to every other member.
So there is not...
There is no ceremony.
Is there a commitment to...
There is a commitment to be what we are to each other. Any relationship that is co-created is enjoyed for the relationship it is, not what we expect it should be.
Why do you think we're so attached to the idea on this?
Because in this way, you feel it is the only way to guarantee the idea of support, but in this way recognize that it is the creation of relationships that are only reflections of your own belief in your incompleteness that you attract in that way, and therefore need a guarantee. You follow me?
Yeah.
If you know you are in this way attracting exactly what you need to attract, you will be exactly as you need to be for the time you need to be committed. You will be to that relationship for what it is. You follow me?
Yes, I do.
If and when it should change in various ways, you will always change with it. The definition of the relationship may change physiologically in many different ways, but it is still a relationship no matter what the new definition. You are, in fact, whether you know it or not, always committed, though you can fool yourselves into thinking you are not. You follow me?
Yes, commitment to oneself.
Commitment to the idea you are co-creating. You follow me?
Yes.
Now, if you choose to view the co-creation through judgment, you may not be aware of the fact that you are obviously committed by being in the relationship to begin with. You follow me? But understand, even if you are in this way forming a relationship in which you are exploring the idea of commitment or lack of commitment, you are, at that moment, committed to exploring that idea within that relationship. You follow me?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Then, in this way, you will also simply know that for whatever you create the relationship, you will then enjoy it for that creation, not what you think it should be, but what it is. That is how we relate to each other in our civilization. And that is why when a situation and a relationship changes, we are committed to the change as well. For we know that change is the only constant, and all change serves us and allows us to serve. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bashar.
You.
You say
Daniel.
supposedly in around 7 years you'll be able to contact us physically?
Maybe.
Maybe. If that maybe occurs, would it be possible, physically possible, for us to visit your planet?
Yes.
May we do so?
Maybe.
No
No promises.
Should I go now?
Don't hold your breath.
You can always go now in your energy state. And understand, as we have described, the majority of our population is actually composed of beings who do so.
Like out of body, you mean?
Out of body, in a sense, projections of mentality and the creation instantaneously of a representational body upon our planet in which they can experience existence upon our planet for any length of time, and then when they are through with it, poof.
Are we doing that now?
Yes.
Is the physiological makeup the same as we are now on your planet?
No, it is our physiological makeup. You are in our type of body there, by definition.
Is that the conscious? Would that be the conscious I of myself here?
Are you imagining in this way that you exist in our civilization right now?
Sort of.
Sort of? Then you are sort of there. Understand, our civilizational energy is offered to everyone and is that malleable. The second you form the identification, you have a representational form on our planet, in our dimension. And it can interact, and does interact, with all the other members.
But I want to know that here.
That is why we have told you many times that does not serve your purpose, obviously, by definition. You can allow it to, but right now, obviously, if you do not have the awareness, you are not allowing it to. In this way, recognize also that this is one of the reasons why we say that when we talk to you, we talk to all different kinds of portions of you. We are, many times, while we are talking to the you here, talking to the you there. And you, as the you there, are talking to the you here. You have only but to allow yourself to realize it, to begin to experience it consciously. You follow me?
Yes.
So we're all at Sony too.
If you wish.
Do you have any idea where specifically you're going to land? Just area?
No. And again, do not expect us to.
Why not?
Because then we can't.
Why no?
Because the expectation is something that says, we need you to. We place you above us. And immediately you put us out of reach.
No, I just think it'd be exciting. And it's just like
all right.
When you have something that's going to happen in the weekend, it's exciting.
All right.
Let's very forward to it, you know. It's like,
forward?
Yeah.
Forward.
As we know time to exist.
All right.
Yeah.
But in this way, simply recognize that the idea is when the excitement is in the present, that is when we can meet you.
Well, it's exciting right now. It's very exciting right now.
I see.
Very exciting.
Very exciting. Very exciting right now. How exciting? Is it so exciting that you are willing to completely be the beings you know you are?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Then, the sooner you begin to act like it, the sooner we will be here. Thank you. You are also applauding on our world. And you are applauding yourselves, of course.
Hooray for us.
Yes, very much so. Hooray for you all. For you are all wonderful creation.
Oh, we love you too.
Oh, thank you.
You ain't so bad yourself.
Bashar.
Yes.
Next.
All right.
As regards applause, does your society use applause as we do in acknowledgement of performance?
No.
I have another question about your society, actually. Do your people clown around?
Clown around?
Do you ever stop clowning around?
Let me think. No, never. Well, maybe sometimes. But not really. Unless we want to, which is always. But no more than that.
Do you have physical things that you clown around with, such as like eyeglasses with a big nose and a mustache attached?
Not in that sense, as you mean that definition, no.
Do you use physical things to clown around with?
There may be a physical object at hand that can provide a demonstration of some idea in that way, but not specifically manufactured in that sense for that idea. And there is the opportunity to also understand that when we utilize an object in that manner, there is very much, let us say, truly more of a transformation that takes place than simply what appears to be on the surface a symbolic representation. Now, not that this has happened in this way, for we do not have lamps and lampshade, but allow me to exemplify the act that if we were, let us say, to avail ourselves of one of your lampshades and were to put it upon our head, we could, to all perceptions, become a lamp. Literally.
Right.
You follow me?
Yes, I guess as you were speaking, I got the idea you could literally light it.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Do you have Halloween on your planet?
No.
You will when we get there.
You are already there.
Bashar, I know
Happy Halloween.
various individuals are...
Now, one moment.
Okay.
Halloween. All Hallows Eve. Your mythical representation based upon the 3 nights, what you call your October 31st, your November 1st, your November 2nd. Our perception on this is a little bit clouded. If you will provide the accurate data, we perceive that it is All Hallows Eve, All Souls Day, and All Saints Day. Right. Recognize All Hallows Eve, the eve before the destruction of Atlantis. All Souls Day, the destruction. All Saints Day, the day after. That is where that comes from. It has been, in this way, simply interpreted in your mythology as those 3 memory dates.
How many years ago?
Approximately, in your term, approximately between 12 and 11,000 years.
Would shivers have come over my body because of the message?
Yes.
Now, how does the symbology of that connect with the symbology of dressing up in costumes and giving candy to kids?
The idea simply has been interpreted throughout the idea of foreboding, forewarning. What you have exemplified to be the unleashing of the negative forces upon your world. You follow me? And the idea that if you do not allow yourselves to go along with the alignment, then you will play a very nasty trick on yourselves.
Trick or treat.
Trick or treat, yeah.
Amazing.
So we can all choose treats.
Yes.
Instead of tricks.
Thank you. So therefore, recognizing fourth density, it may simply be treat or treat.
Right.
Yeah, continuing.
Yes.
I know that various individuals are given to various intensities of things. Do you personally clown around?
Yes.
Okay, good. I knew that you very much like, at least when you're translating to our society, word humor.
Right.
Where you probably deal in concept humor, but I didn't know whether it was of a physical nature. But now I do. On another subject, we've been dealing with a lot of tampering in our society.
Tampering?
Yes, glass in baby food,
Yes.
glass in ice cream,
Yes.
poison in drugs and stuff like
Yes.
that. And I'm wondering...
It is connected to that whole idea we discussed relative to what you call that shuttle so-called disaster of the idea of hidden things being able to hurt you.
Oh, okay. All right, good. Another question.
Things hidden within yourself in this way that you fear if they come to the surface will cause harm.
As a
The fact in itself, excuse me, that the idea that you can hide things from yourself means that they must be harmful. That idea. Continue.
Thanks. As a youth, I was particularly attracted to the sound of the name Shadrach. And you've mentioned this before.
Steve.
Abednego, right?
Yes.
And those others, Meshach and Abednego, also have
Yes.
a similar thing.
Yes. You may talk to Steve.
Well, will Steve know it relative to me?
Yes. He will know it relative enough for now.
Enough. Okay, Steve.
Thank you.
Bashar?
Oh, you first, then you.
Me.
Mr. Ballman.
Yeah.
Bocce ball.
Bocce ball. A while ago, I asked you a question. I said, to what degree am I talking to myself when I talk to you?
100%.
You said 100%. Do you have any judgment? No, you couldn't have any judgment. Let me see.
I could if I wanted
to. You consider that the accuracy of the statements that you are making.
We do not deal in accuracy. We deal in validity.
Validity.
Not the same thing.
All right, understood. You feel that the validity of your statements are more valid than mine?
For me or for you?
As example, if I were to make a statement regarding Atlantis, and you make a statement regarding Atlantis, is there a consideration that yours is more valid or has more validity than mine?
No.
Okay. My truth
is your truth and your reality.
Okay, the difference between accuracy and validity.
In this sense, accuracy is a judgment that there must be one truth and measure everything against it. And there is no one truth.
There's a math-conscious experience.
Yes, and there are many truths within it. The truth is composed of all truths.
Mm-hmm.
Does that clarify the idea?
To some degree.
It goes along with the understanding that when we say you are your completely total whole universe unto yourself, we mean it literally. You can have experienced what you deign to have experienced within your own experience of the idea of Atlantis, and for you in your reality, that was your experience until you decide to change it.
Mm-hmm.
Understand again, you are creating your past and your future from your present. And when you change the idea of yourself in the moment, everything changes. Your entire universe, all of its past, all of its future. You follow me?
Instantaneously creating that.
In other words, recognize there are parallel realities in which the idea of Atlantis did not destroy itself.
Mm-hmm.
So you could just as likely say, well, my perception is that Atlantis didn't destroy itself. And I would just as easily say, you are right.
In my perception.
In your reality.
In your reality, it did destroy itself.
In the reality that we share with the idea of co-creating the reality you have decided to share with us, it did.
I understand.
However, in this way, recognize that both are real.
Mm-hmm.
There is an Atlantis that did not destroy itself, and there is an Atlantis that did. And both are real. It is not this or that, it is this and that.
Yeah.
The truth is composed of all truths. This and that. And the one that is yours is the one you experience.
Right.
Plain and simple.
In truth, we're not going to be traveling to your planet. We're going to evolve to the ability to create and experience it, aren't we?
It is not impossible to travel to our planet. That is also a truth.
Mm-hmm. But aren't you presenting, or we are presenting to ourselves, create the reality of which you speak?
Yes, to shift yourself to the reality that contains that, if that is what you need.
Okay, and the physical, we're not going to meet physically, or this concept that we will not meet physically.
When you say we, recognize that the you that is saying that is not the you that might meet us.
I understand.
Therefore, you cannot really make that statement.
Well, I couldn't make a statement, I made it, but I mean...
We mean in the sense that it is true for you right now that the you are now is not meeting us.
Yes.
But if, in that sense, so to speak, you meet us, it is not the same you.
Of course.
Therefore, it is not you are now that will meet us, even if you do meet us. It will be another you.
Right. I understand.
Thank you.
Well, what is the I don't like to use the word judgment, but you're saying when we consider ourselves equal to you,
Yes.
then we will meet physically.
Yes. Simply,
consciously,
when you become equal to the vibration of the reality that is defined by us meeting physically, that is the reality you will experience. We are projecting our reality to be that reality, that vibration. In a sense, we are already meeting you, the yous that you will be when we meet you.
Right. That chosen path is to develop more of a spiritual awareness of ourselves.
And choose what reality you wish to experience to fulfill the idea of what you are.
Outside of that, validating the physical and senior to our own subjective viewpoint.
Everything is your subjective viewpoint.
Yeah. Okay, but that's what we're coming to. Understood. Okay, thank you, Bashar.
Where is the Atlantis that did not destroy itself?
In parallel realities. You understand the concept?
I understand the concept, but I can't do anything with it.
All right. Then that is doing something with it that you need to do. One moment. Yes?
What are you doing with your hands when you're listening and talking and...
Nothing. I, in my physical form, am perfectly still.
What are you doing with Daryl's hands?
I am not doing anything with them. The reaction that you may see as you exemplify the idea is simply, let us say, an increase in the pulsation of my mentality so that the physiological body, by definition, must translate the extra energy in some way, shape, and form if it cannot be translated vocally. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Thank you.
It's the language of the tongue.
You!
Sure. You had mentioned this was Activity Month.
Yes!
I brought my blocks. And
all very good. Did you bring your pen and paper?
That I've got.
All right.
What would you like me to do?
I would suggest, you do not have to do anything.
Oh, okay.
I would suggest that each and every one of you now begin the idea of knowing that you are your governments, your political institutions, your social institutions, your religious institutions, your economic institutions. You are these ideas, and that without admonition, without accusation, without demand, but from complete and total unconditional love, you communicate with them every single day. And you let them know that you prefer peace. Talk to them. Send them a letter every single day. For are you not alive every single day?
Sure.
Then communicate every single day. They will get the message. If all of you do that every single day, they will begin to think that that is truly what you want. And they may allow themselves to go along and co-create the idea that they too can let it be all right for them to also prefer peace. Share with whatever your imagination allows you to share. Allow it to come from you, not from us, from you. No accusations. But if you are willing in this way to understand that you know that they know that there are interactions with other civilizations, simply let them know that you know. And that it is all right for them to let you know, so that you can share the experience together. They do not have to take responsibility for your fear anymore. You are now beyond panic. You are big children. You can do this as well. But we are speaking of action on every level, and since you obviously have chosen to be physical, the physiological action is where, once you allow yourself to master physiological action, the rest of it will take care of itself. The willingness to do is now what you are going to be willing to exemplify, or not. It is up to you. But our suggestion is to begin. We will have many more suggestions. But our suggestion is to begin and continue, if you wish, what you call nothing more than a postcard or a letter every single day. Now, if you truly believe in peace, is it not worth the small amount of time it takes to sit down and express in a very brief and loving statement, I prefer peace. Thank you very much. Your loving equal.
Do you have a suggestion as to which level of government?
Level?
Yeah.
You are your own government.
I mean in physical terms, since we are communicating in physical
All of them, then. If you are choosing to see more than one level, write to all of them. Cover them all. Why leave any of them out?
It's a lot.
A lot. Do you not understand in this way that individuals who are willing to be peace would not care if they had to write to every single individual on the planet? For them it would be an act of joy and love to share the peace that they have within them with everyone. Why not allow everyone to get a letter? Do they not deserve it? Send them where you will. Whatever feels right for you, knowing that however you do it is perfect. Thank you.
Bashar?
Yes.
There are those in this world that, let's say, have any rational...
I am hearing a belief system coming up. I am hearing an excuse.
No, there are those who...
Okay. Who are you speaking for? Who can you speak for?
Well, in reality, only myself.
Thank you. End of conversation. Your reality is your reality. If you insist on believing that there are those who, then you are saying that is the reality you experience and will continue to experience because that is the reality you believe in.
Sure.
Again, if you are willing to know you are the reality of peace, define that reality for yourself. If in your reality of peace there are no longer those who, then don't continue to act as if there are those who anymore. All right? Okay. Treat them as if they are those who do not. And then you will be acting as if you are the one who does. You follow me?
Sure.
No, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Bashar, briefly, a title for tonight? Would you...
Why, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes!
How many members are in the association?
How many members?
Or people?
People? Several billion, I think.
How many in Triad?
You mean your world, our world, and Sirius?
Yes.
Obviously several billion, since you have several billion of your own. There is no accurate count that we can give you, for it is constantly fluctuating. Galaxy is a collection of many solar systems. Is that what you mean?
Yes. No, I didn't know.
Your civilization and our civilization and the civilization of Sirius exist within one, what you call, galaxy, which is a collection in that way, as you count them in this way, of what you call over 100 billion stars, and that is one galaxy. In this way, you will find that there are other galaxies as well. Now, we have explored minutely into 5, including our own galaxies at this time. And in this way, there are some representations from each of those ones that we know of in an overall association in that way. The majority of the ones that our civilization is familiar with, however, stem mostly from our own galaxy, from several different star systems within this galaxy. What you call the Milky Way, yes.
How many galaxies are there?
Infinite.
How many?
What you would perceive in your density approximately, or close to it, between 60 and 70 million. It fluctuates as well, but somewhere within that.
And there were how many stars?
Over 100 billion.
You said once that you had directly...
Not myself, personally.
Oh, the people of SSR.
The association.
So that's 468 out of the 60 or 70.
All of the idea of what you call the 60 to 70 million inhabitations, in a sense, do not belong to the association. We are simply listing what you call the inhabited planet that we are aware of.
many of which you have not interacted with.
Correct.
Bashar?
Yes.
Would you please define the extent of the Akashic record?
Extent?
Oh, all that it would include, all of the knowledge.
Everything.
Not just third density?
Oh, no, no, no.
Not just physicality?
No. All experience.
Bashar?
Yes.
On your planet, in the physical structure or form structure, do you have like running water?
You would recognize it similar to your own planet.
Is it similar?
Yes, it is similar.
The forms would be somewhat different.
Yes.
Colors?
Similar. Although you will find there will be a preponderance of what you call green and also greenish cast light, for our star is green.
And you have animals?
Yes.
Do you have relationships with animals like we do with pets and that kind of thing?
Not pets, as you understand. We are free to interact with animals. They are free to interact with us in that way. But you will find, in that sense, that there are many comings and goings. No one owns a pet. We interact with what animals we come across.
Speaking of pets, Bashar,
Yes.
what would be a handy solution to, well, let's see, okay, how do I word it?
There is one idea we find we cannot focus on completely, therefore some of this involves your own research. But in this way we do perceive that there does exist a powdered form of an herb that you can rub into the cat's fur that will allow the fleas to simply go their way without being harmed.
And would there be...
Are you saying you want to rub the powder on yourself?
I don't want them in my house at all.
Why not?
Because they're ugly and they...
I see. I wonder what they think of you. Since we are going to be judgmental. Perhaps. No. Why not strike up a conversation with them equally? Find out what they represent to you in that way, and perhaps, if they have served you in that way, your cat will no longer need to carry them to reflect to you certain ideas that you may not have come to terms with yet. All right?
Okay. The part that I have...
Think in terms of symbiosis rather than parasite. Well, if you wish, you can do it that way, but simply the idea that instead of something living at the expense of something, living together, supporting each other, becoming symbiotic. All right? Then, perhaps, you will have fulfilled the reason for why they are reflecting the idea to you in that way, and perhaps they can simply go on their way.
You mean the idea that I can live with them peacefully?
Yes, with everything. Are you telling me that if you wish peace upon your planet, you are going to find something to exclude from that peace? Is it not unconditional love out of which you are going to create peace? Or is it conditional love? Thank you. There is a few minutes remaining for the interaction.
Bashar?
There's one thing.
Yes.
That keeps coming up in my mind regarding that dream I shared with you.
Yes.
And that is, there was one point that somebody said this was South Carolina. And I've never been there this life.
One idea that it means is that there are individuals in that area who can assist within the idea of the learning, the more conscious learning of what you call the out-of-body projections. Go ahead. Have a good time. You will find them.
Bashar?
Thank you.
Yes.
If there were to be an earthquake in the next 24 hours, where do you think it would be likely to be?
Could be area you call Mammoth.
About 0.5.
About 5.2. Maybe. There is a probability. One moment. Between the 4th and between the 11th, act. Changes, rapid changes. Observe, act. Between the 4th and the 11th, act. Live. Do not fear. Rapid changes, act. At this time, we are called. we bid you a fond, loving, exciting, bold-flowing life.
Right. Happy bold flowing.
And in this way, as you become your dreams, as your dreams become your lives, act, 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 act. Act and dissolve the separation between them. And expect miracles. Thank you. We bid you a fond good night.
Great. Thank you very much, Darrell.